Yes, I'm exhausted. Of course, it's ridiculous. We live in a ridiculous country. We always lived in a ridiculous country, but it was always ridiculous in a fun Mr. T kind of way.
Right.
Now we've got a different Mr. T.
Wow, I didn't think of it as a Mr. T.
Well, you know what? That's why I had to host the show.
Are you scared?
No, I'm not scared.
There are some countries whose leaders don't support free speech. I'm not at liberty to say which. Let's just leave it at North Korea and CBS.
Oh, Jim! Free speech, Mr. T, CBS! Ah! Did I just see Jim Kimmel vaguely criticizing Conan O'Brien? Did I just see Jim Kimmel making a desperate plea to host the Oscars next year? I don't know if Jim knows this, but the networks, they are trying to actually get people to watch this dump. If Jim Kimmel is hosting the show, millions of people will be telling Oscar to get off my TV. What a disaster last night was. What an absolute disaster. If Hollywood executives want to know why Hollywood is struggling, if they want to know why Americans are no longer consuming these polished turds, the Academy Awards was a prime example of why Hollywood no longer has influence. 3 hours of anti-American garbage. 3 hours of doofus celebrities reciting robotic lectures. 3 hours of doofus celebrities treating America like it's a third world dump. 3 hours of soulless, mind-numbing garbage. I sat through about 90 minutes last night of insecure celebrities desperately seeking validation from their god-named Oscar, and as I was watching, I was reminded of how irrelevant Hollywood has become. Check out some of these so-called stars who were at the Oscars last night. Charitra Chandran, Javier Bardem, Amy Madigan. Who, and who? Who in the hell are these people? For the first time in my life, I have an easier time recognizing the anonymous faces in the WNBA than I do with these so-called famous people. And I struggle to call them celebrities because by definition, a celebrity is defined as someone who is well known. If Javier Bardem was standing next to me at Publix, I wouldn't think he was a famous actor. I think he's the guy behind the table serving complimentary samples of beanies and weenies. Hey, it's me, Javi! Want to try a taste of my weenie? There is no denying the fact that Hollywood is struggling. One of the movies that was honored last night, One Battle After Another, starring Leo DiCaprio, who is no longer really known as being a famous actor. Nowadays, Leo is more known for bottling his farts so the fumes don't harm the environment and dating women that are half his age. Leo DiCaprio used to be a major box office draw, but this turd that he released last year, One Battle After Another, once marketing and promotion costs were included in the budget, the film lost over $100 million, yet somehow it won the award for Best Picture. If this was an award for the Best Picture of failure, I could understand it. But how does a film that lost millions of dollars win an Academy Award? Hollywood is desperate right now to regain their relevance and influence. And in most cases, when you're desperate, you do one of two things. You either adapt and change what you're doing that's not working, or you double down on what's comfortable. You double down on what's worked for you in the past. 20 years ago, it was acceptable to criticize our good friend Georgie Bush in the war in Iraq. By 2006, most Americans were tired of the war. We had been lied to about weapons of mass destruction. We had been lied to by Richard Cheney, or as Georgie preferred to call him, Dickie. At the time, Hollywood celebrities were celebrated for using their platforms to speak out against the war. But today, the political climate is completely different. Unfortunately for Hollywood, they are so out of touch with normal people, they have failed to realize that Donald Trump has a higher approval rating at this point of his second term than W. and Barry Obama. There are millions and millions of Americans that support the Trumper. There are millions of Americans who are proud to live in America. Now, with that being the case, along with Hollywood struggling to produce profitable turds, hell, at this point, the WNBA dump is more profitable than the Hollywood dump. With that being the case, you would think Hollywood celebrities would make themselves more appealing to most of the country. But instead, they are doubling down on their anti-American garbage, and it was on full display last night as they worship their god named Oscar. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel is in the description below. Today on the second channel, going to be talking about the forced retirement of Derek Carr. After sitting out last season, Derek Carr is desperate to make his triumphant return to the NFL. But there's just one problem, one tiny problem. No one, and I mean no one, wants him. So if you haven't already, click the link in the description below, subscribe to the second channel. I put together a compilation of the anti-American garbage that was on display at the Oscars last night. As you're about to see, it's basically a compilation of steaming turds. If you happen to have a mask available, I would encourage you to use it before breathing these toxic fumes. What's ironic about this? A lot of this anti-American sentiment that we're seeing in Hollywood, it's coming from people who weren't born here in America. Javier Bardem is from Spain. Saja Kalani, she's got citizenship in Canada, Jordan, and Palestine. Canada, the country that most Americans forget exists. Spain is one of many European countries that's turning into an Islamic paradise. Jordan, dump. Palestine, demolished. Yet for some reason, these people are coming over here to America and complaining about us. They're coming here to America to tell us what's wrong with our country. Watch it for yourself.
No to war and free Palestine.
Can you tell us about choosing to wear these pins today?
This pin is a collaboration with an artist called Shepard Fairey. It's Artists for Ceasefire, and we're demanding a permanent ceasefire because there is no ceasefire right now. There are bombings happening to this day, destruction, displacements all over the world. You know, in Palestine, in Lebanon, in Iran, in Venezuela, and everywhere. And this is
happening in the U.S.
Artists for Ceasefire pin, and what we are demanding is a ceasefire in Gaza. And I think that I am so blessed to have a platform, and this is the least I can do to use it. And like sometimes the news cycle is so fast and people move on, but the people in Gaza and the West Bank are still suffering.
And like we're demanding a ceasefire in Gaza. Yeah, like no more war. Give peace a chance. More water, less fire. Let's like hug and talk it out. I'm pretty sure there is a ceasefire in Gaza. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure there's been a ceasefire in Gaza for months because there's really nothing left to fire at. If you want to support Gaza, you shouldn't be advocating for a ceasefire. You should be advocating for a rebuild. But I don't expect some unknown celebrity to fully understand what the hell's going on. She's just reading scripted lines that she was given, which is probably why Hollywood is absolutely terrified to be replaced by AI. It's a hell of a lot cheaper to program AI to be anti-American. You don't have to pay it millions of dollars, and it doesn't talk back. It doesn't give you any resistance. You simply tell it what to say, and it repeats it verbatim in a soulless, emotionless tone. Kind of like the soulless, emotionless tones we just heard from these unknown celebrities at the Oscars. For years, people have been complaining about the decline of entertainment. Movies, they're not as good as they used to be. Instead of producing movies that entertain, Hollywood produces movies that indoctrinates. They're trying to lecture us. They're trying to awaken us instead of entertain us. The question is why? It's abundantly clear that this formula is not working. America continues to reject the polished turds that Hollywood strains to release. They're losing millions of dollars, and the strain, it's causing a devastating case of hemorrhoids. So why in the hell do they continue producing movies that they know no one is going to watch? This might explain it. Check it out for yourself. The Academy generated this list of requirements for a film to be nominated for Best Picture. Instead of hiring actors based on talent, instead of hiring actors who possess charisma, Hollywood is hiring actors based on their marginalized status. How do you recite the ABCs? LGBTQIA. You're fired! We can't hire you! You forgot the plus and the @ sign. Hollywood is intentionally looking for actors with a disability. If you want the starring role in a big budget film, I guess you should start staring directly into the sun to cause temporary blindness. In that case, you would immediately be hired. It's absolutely ridiculous. But hidden beneath all the garbage last night, there was a couple of positive moments. Michael B. Jordan, he won the award for Best Actor in a Leading Role. He started his acceptance speech by saying God is good. Now, of course, he was immediately corrected by some dork in the audience. His name isn't God, his name is Oscar! There was another actress, I think her name was Jessie Buckley. She used her acceptance speech to profess her love of her husband, and she talked about how amazing it is to be a mother, which is extremely rare in Hollywood since, you know, they're against the traditional family, they encourage divorce, and they damn sure encourage women not to have children. But for the most part, the Oscars was another Hollywood event that was against America. I did notice one other thing. Amidst all the whining about Palestine, amidst all the pretend crying about the children of Iran, oh, the children! It's all about the children! I did not see a single unknown doofus criticizing Iran for murdering 30,000 of their own citizens. I didn't see a single celebrity celebrate the dismantling of the Iranian regime. Not one person in Hollywood praised the Trumper for eliminating the largest funder of terrorism in the world. I wonder why. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.